What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to talk about the results of the Vybz Kartel appeal. As you know, the convictions have been quashed, and now we're awaiting the decision of the Jamaican court as to whether they're going to pursue another trial or just dismiss the case. Now, when it comes to the cybersecurity aspect, I want to discuss some of the lessons coming out of this case. So stay with me to the end because there are some things in there that you may not know that you should know. If you like the video, just click that like button. Hopefully you like it. But if you don't, then don't. And if you haven't subscribed as yet, just remember to click that subscribe button and click the notification bell so whenever I bring more content, you will be notified. All right, so let's look at what the Privy Council was saying. And as you can see here, I have downloaded the document that speaks on the judgment. It's the entire copy of what the judges concluded. And I'm not going to go through all of that, so don't worry. You don't have to worry that you're gonna have to start sleeping now. I'm just going to look at a particular section. As I said, I'm going to focus on the cybersecurity issues with the case. So this is the background from which the evidence was deemed inadmissible. So let us look at this case here. If you look down here where they talk about the evidence that was taken, if you look at 5 here, it's saying that the police seized mobile phones from all of them, Palmer, St. John, Williams, and it was delivered to the Communications, Forensics and Cybercrimes Unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, right? And they talk about the evidence, where it came from. It says the evidence derived from the mobile phones included text messages, BlackBerry messages, voice notes, and a video. All right. Now, the evidence was deemed inadmissible for several reasons. One is that the chain of custody was broken because it was accessed after it was secured, and that eliminates some of the unreasonable doubt. However, if you read here, you can see that what the lawyers, the defendants' lawyers, were saying is that the evidence was obtained in breach of the Interception of Communications Act, right? So it's saying so the CD was put, a CD called JS2. I know if you guys are following the trial, you heard JS2 a lot. So this is what they were referring to, the CD that the communications was recorded on, right? So the officer recorded the information on JS2 by notice issued purportedly under section 16.2 of the Interception of Communications Act. Corporal Brown of the JCF asks a digital communications provider to provide the communication data of various persons. And as we know the people involved, right? So they got that information from Digicel, all right? And the prosecution was saying that the evidence here is the main evidence that is supporting the fact that they were the one that committed the crime. Now, the defendant lawyers, or the appellant's counsel, they maintain that the request to Digicel and Digicel's provision to the police of the data was in breach of the
ICA because Corporal Brown was not an authorized person or not authorized to request the service, right? So these things you have to do it with care. That's another thing when it comes to lessons learned. Officers of the law, if you're going to carry out your duties, you have to be mindful of the protocols and the procedures, the best practices and all of that, because once you don't follow that, then you're going to be in breach and the case is going to be thrown out, right? They submitted inter alia that the data on JS2 was inadmissible on the ground that it had been obtained in breach of the fundamental right to the protection of privacy of communications guaranteed by the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms. Now, most of us, well, a lot of people are not aware of this. We're not lawyers, so we won't know the details of some of these charters and so on. And that's why you need experts to deal with things like this. Now, this is something that you should pay attention to. And the reason I said that is that the fundamental rights that you have when it comes to cybersecurity or when it comes to your devices, that you're using, if you're not aware of some of these things, then you would have already surrendered your freedom. And it's important for us to know, how and when they can use our devices or data from our devices as evidence against us if we are doing something or if we're accused of committing an act. So that was that for the evidence, and since it was the main part of the evidence, it really affected the outcome of the case. Now, some of the things that a lot of us do not know is that based on the Interception of Communications Act, the police can, once they have reason to believe that a crime is about to be committed or is being committed or has been committed, they can seize or can obtain a warrant to intercept your communications. So think about that. All of the things that you would have placed on your phone because it's your private property, that is subject to being searched or intercepted by law enforcement if it is going to be in the best interest of national security, or if they have reason to believe that it might help in an investigation. And remember, it might help in an investigation. So what I'm going to do is pull up some of those documents as well to show you guys that this is something you need to know. So I already pulled this up, which is the Interception of Communications Act. And I just want to briefly read some of this to you because this is really interesting and also scary. So this is talking about, under what circumstances your communications may be intercepted. But I'm just going to go to just a section that will definitely give you some idea of what I was just saying, right? So let's scroll up to the top here. Alright. So those are the definitions. Let's come down here and see what we have here. Alright, so look at 2 here. In this act, the interest of national security shall be construed as including but not limited to the protection of Jamaica from threats of espionage, sabotage, terrorism, or subversion. Right? And this is, of course, saying that if someone just intercepts it without permission, they'll be committing a crime. All right, let me scroll down here. If you come down to 2 here, number 2, a judge shall not issue a warrant under this section unless he is satisfied that A, the warrant is necessary in the interest of national security, as I said earlier, for the prevention or detection of any offense specified in the schedule where there are reasonable grounds for believing that such an offense has been, is being, or is about to be committed. So if you listen to those, if you think about those, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have committed a crime, and they're going to have access to your device, complete access. So anything that you put on your device is, fair game. Information obtained from interception is likely to assist in investigation concerning any matter mentioned in paragraph A. Other investigative procedures have not been or are unlikely to be successful in attaining the information sought to be acquired by means of the warrant, are too dangerous to adopt in circumstances, or having regard to the urgency of the case are practicable. Alright, it would be in the best interest of the administration of justice to issue the warrant. Alright, and the list goes on. So think about that. I read this and I was like, wow. And we know that these laws or this act was not made out of malice. Everything is for the general safety of the public. But when you think about it, it makes you want to not, put certain things on your phone. As what Buja said, we not trust phone, we not own, we not like it, And I think he probably read this app. That's probably why he decided to make that song, because, it doesn't matter if what you have on the phone has nothing to do with the investigation. It's there and they have access to it. So they're going to go through everything on the phone. And even from the US, one of the things is that I learned in cybersecurity is that in the forensic aspect, some of the tools they're already set to pick up on certain things. So I know a lot of people like to put X-rated stuff on their phones, and that's one of the things that those tools definitely is going to highlight. It will highlight things like porn, it highlights things that anything that has to do with children, so if you're a sex offender, and they did not know that you were committing that crime, you would be held for that, even though they didn't hold your phone for that reason. So that is good in that sense. However, if you have other private things on your phone, you best know that that is going to be out there. Somebody is going to be looking at whatever you have on there. So just be mindful of that. And another thing that I wanted to say is, doing this video is not to say that, I believe that the person is innocent or guilty. The thing is, what's most important for everybody to understand is that we want to make sure that we have a justice system that is fair, regardless of who the person is or who is perceived to be. And if you or I was the person in Kartel's shoes, would we have the resources to go to Privy Council? And basically what Privy Council is saying is that if they had this case, it would have been thrown out based on the fact that there was a break in the chain of custody and, the juror was corrupted. I know I said I was going to talk about just the cybersecurity aspect, but then there's also that, if the procedures weren't followed, they just weren't followed. I'm not going to really knock the justice system too much in Jamaica. It's just to say that, we are all human beings, and if we have an independent body to look at the issues and decide that, well, we're going to quash the charges, we are going to leave the rest of it, the decisions, to you to determine if you want a retrial or you want to set the defendants free. Now, this is definitely interesting, because I am really interested to see if they're going to do the retrial, what evidence they're going to use to stand on. That is really dismal on the prosecution side. You know, it doesn't look good for the justice system in Jamaica, of course. However, you know, we must realize that, as I said, we are human beings, and you know, that is why I think it's good that we had this external body in the Privy Council to look at the case with no bias and, you know, just make the judgment based on that. You know, with that said, you know, it's good to know about cybersecurity, especially in this time, and that's why I'm here, guys. So just keep staying with me, follow me, and you know, see what I have to present to you guys. You know, start the communication by commenting in the comments some of the things you'd like to know more about as it comes to technology and cybersecurity. And you know, I'm always happy to explain and bring more stuff to you that's happening in the cybersecurity space, and anything that's happening in general that has anything to do with cybersecurity, I definitely will be talking on it. And if you haven't clicked the like button, just remember to click that and subscribe. And thank you again. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome of this. And it has been a long journey for both the prosecution and the defendants. You know, this trial is definitely going to change a lot of things when it comes to how they go about, you know, admitting evidence, making sure that there is chain of custody. But it's good when things like this happen, because without this, then we won't improve. And you know, justice is justice. It does not matter who it is, but justice is for all of us. And you know, I just hope that everything happens for the best interest of the country. And you know, thank you for staying with me. If you're still here, just click the subscription button on the way out. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to your comments, and we're building a community here, guys. You know, I'm seeing a growth in subscribers, and I hope to grow some more. We're getting closer and closer to 100 subscribers. So I thank you again for your support. Thank you for watching, and I will definitely see you in the next one.